Morning folks, Sunday morning. It's dry, warm I think as well. Warmer, feels warm down here in the kitchen anyway. What have I got for you today? Well, let me think. Yesterday we went out with Leafy to get David a present. Went to Screwfix first to pick up a present that Tracy had bought David, and then we went down to Asda, down into the basement bit, and got some presents for David down there. Went to Marks and Sparks, but we didn't get out in there. And come back. Yeah, Pat's will be here in a minute. While she's coming back, I'll just tell you a bit about, I've got a bit more information about pianos. I think we've got as far as the soundboard and the long bridge and the bass bridge on the soundboard, and how the string comes over the top bridge, over the long bridge, down to the hitch pin on the bottom of the frame, and the down bearing, which is applied to the face of the bridge on the soundboard, pressing in on the soundboard, which is a concave shape. What I wanted to just cover this morning was something called uniform string tension. Now you imagine atmospheric changes that occur in your house from morning to night. You know, you've got your central heating on an evening, and then you go to bed, and during the night it cools down. In the morning the heating comes back on. All that fluctuation causes expansion and contraction in your piano. So what they do to combat that to some degree is to, when they design a piano, and this is why I said that the bridge, the angle, the shape of that curve on the bridge was crucial, because they have to create what is called uniform string tension. Now, when a string comes down from the hitch pin, which is sunk into the rest plank at the top, comes down and it hits that top bridge. That's a metal V-shaped thing at the top on the frame. And then it goes down to the wooden bridge on the soundboard. That length there from the top bridge to the bridge on the soundboard is called the speaking length. That is the speaking length of the string. It could be about that long at the top and this long at the bottom. Now, to arrive at uniform string tension, there's a formula. Now, I used to use this formula all the time when we rebuilt pianos, but I've forgotten exactly what it is. But what it is basically, I think, is the length times the diameter of the string. I think it's divided by 140,000 and square rooted. It had a formula like that, and that formula gave you the tension in pounds of what was applied to that string. So obviously, the length of the string dictates, as it gets longer and longer and longer, dictates that formula. Because when you're at the top end of the piano with a string that's only maybe that long there, it'll only have a string gauge of say 13. I don't know what the micrometer reading is. I can't remember them, but it usually starts off at gauge 13, and maybe every 6th note it'll go up a half, 13.5 gauge, another 6 notes 14, another 6 notes 14.5, and the string's getting longer and thicker as it goes. So that formula, so that distance, as it grows in length, it has to remain the same tension. So the length's changing and the thickness of the wire's changing, but the tension has to remain the same. And the curve on the bridge creates that, right? And that, what happens when you've got uniform string tension is that when the piano expands and contracts, the strings, because they've all got the same tension, roughly, you'll never get it exact, but roughly the same tension on them, they expand and contract in a uniformed way. So the piano remains in tune, more or less. It might go out, so I'd hear it go out, but generally speaking, you won't hear it. So that's why they create uniform string tension. That's another thing. Now, somebody asked me recently about what's the difference between a straight strung and an overstrung. Well, the straight strung pianos, the strings go directly in a straight line all the way down, all the way from the top of the piano down to the bass in a straight line down the piano, straight down the piano. That is the shortest distance, because the piano's longer than it is higher, so it's travelling the shortest distance in the piano. Now, an overstrung is the treble strings start off straight and then gradually they start to curve like that, so they're travelling diagonally across the piano, back of the piano. So they're travelling the longest distance they can within the space of the piano, because they're travelling from corner to corner. So that creates longer strings. And the longer the string, the richer the tone. Same with the bass. The bass travels diagonally the other way, and it travels over the top of the treble strings. That's why it's called overstrung, because the bass strings are going over the treble strings. And what that creates, apart from extra length and extra richness of tone, is that if you've got, imagine you've got an A string going down that way, and you've got an A in the bass going that way, when you play an A up there, the A on the bass string will resonate in sympathy with it. Same with any note. Any note that crosses the bass, where the bass crosses over it, it'll ring, it'll resonate in sympathy with it, and that helps also to create a richer tone. So that's the difference between a straight strung and an overstrung. Overstrung, longer strings, travels over the top of the treble strings, so you get an extra resonation quality. There is another one which you don't see many of called oblique strung, and all that is that all the strings, instead of travelling straight down the back of the piano, they all travel at the same angle to just get a bit of extra length in them. You don't see many oblique strung pianos about. Okay, so that's a bit about pianos.
And I'm back.
And Pat's back. Right, diary.
I've just lit the candle that Kim sent with the smelly wax things that her daughter does.
Yeah.
I've just lit it, Kim.
To make a nice smell.
To make a nice smell in the other room.
Right. I was getting ready for Mark coming. Mark and
Louise?
Nicola.
Yeah. We'll get there in the end, Nicola.
We'll remember you, Nicola, don't worry. Little picture there. Tell you where it is of. The 23rd of September 2016. Yet another lovely day. we went to Sands, another place I remember from my childhood. My mum and dad, I remember going there with my mum and dad when I was a kid, and we used to go to Marazion. I remember going to Sands. We'd be just playing on the sands all day. I remember it was red hot. In the 50s, Cornwall was red hot in the summer. I don't know whether that's the same anymore. Seem to get a lot of rain now down there. Had a nice walk and met a couple who had retired and come to live there a year ago. Had our picnic on the beach and then drove to Paramporth, which I think that picture is of. We walked right up a long thing. Don't know what you call it. But on our way we saw a very nice static caravan park, so we had a look round. Very expensive. Parked at the top of Paramporth and walked in. Very nice place. Had fish and chips for tea in the harbour. Walked to the far end and back to the car. Very nice day. In Paramporth where they have that lighthouse or a church or something right on the edge, and when tide gets rough, there's loads of photographs of the waves hitting it.
I don't know.
And I think we went in a gallery there and there were a lot of paintings of the tide hitting it.
Oh.
Don't know whether it was a lighthouse or a church. Following day, I woke this morning to high winds and thick mist. I say awoke, but it blew all night. Damaged the caravan on the way out of the site. The gate blew onto the van while I drove through it. It knocked the cover off the gas vent. But we called in and got one.
Yeah.
And fitted, perfect colour and fit. Got to the new site okay. No rain. Set up, had lunch and went to the caravan shop to get the new part for the van. It rained, so we just looked at vans and campers, then drove back, fitted the new part, and it's as good as new. 25th of September. It rained most of the night, but I woke to a blue sky. We went to Falmouth, parked on a street up above the harbour, walked round the place until we found a pub doing a Sunday lunch. We parked on an housing estate at the top and walked down.
Oh. Yeah.
We've been there before to Falmouth.
I think so. Yeah. I think I remember that.
After lunch I dragged Pat uphill and down Dale, which can't go on. I realised both of us were busting for a toilet. After, you see, when we didn't have the camper, and we had the car, you see, we had to rely on public loos or pub loos, didn't we?
Yeah, and cafes and yeah. It was a lot easier to get around then with car. We went to a lot more places than we do when we're out now.
Yeah, we did.
With camper.
We did. After getting lost, we finished up at Asda in Penryn. Not a good day. Can't say I like Falmouth or Penryn. Went back and chilled out in the caravan most of the day. It was sunny but windy. So I didn't like Falmouth or Penryn.
Oh.
There you go. And I've got a little poem from our friend Hovis Presley. It's called Meet Dave, he swims like a fish. Your eyes are like tombola, full of mystery and consolation. Your smile is like a parachute, a silk screen of anticipation. Your teeth are like teeth, well, perhaps a little whiter. Your hair is like Wild or some other Irish writer. I could swear that the air never felt fresher. I don't care what anyone else says, I could listen to your every word, but I'm so busy, vainly trying to impress you, that you'll never get a chance to get a word in it wordways. I'd tell you that you're brilliant, but you're too shy to see it. Your smile would light the national grid if you would only free it. You act like no one else on earth, and you're so modest with it. There's one small point I'd like to mention when you've got 'em in it. Your boyfriend's a gormless twat. I wish he'd disappear, 'cause I did this and I did that is all I ever seem to hear. All lit roads lead to romance, but the signpost isn't clear. And your boyfriend's just too normal to be anything but weird. Your boyfriend is just excess flab, one black hole from ear to ear. Please return him to the lab. He wasn't such a bright idea. Your fuddy-duddy bosom buddy, Boris Karloff, understudy, cannot comprehend how could he. The painful pressing need to dispatch this plainly pointless kiss-catch mismatch. Put your sweet lips a little closer to the phone. You could only call him pal, 'cause he looks like a dog's dinner.
Pal. Dog meat.
In a way, it reminded me of John Cooper Clarke in quite a bit of that poem.
Oh, yeah. Good.
Ah,
I'll put Ernie out. He's having
I wonder.
a wander. He was scrabbling away at the bottom of the cage. Bottom of the vivarium, or whatever they call
A Bavarian, you're quite
Bavarian.
right, yeah. You got it in one.
them. Didn't sound right when I said a cage. It's not a cage.
It didn't, no. So you're going to be busy today,
I'm going to be busy today, yes. Yes.
preparing
For tea,
for tea.
yes. I like to get it done. Get it all chopped up and
Yeah,
prepared.
yeah.
I'll put the meat in later. Might just take a couple of hours.
Yeah.
Ah,
You know, I came up with a couple of bright ideas at bathroom this morning when I was getting a bath, and I've
did
forgotten
you?
them.
Really? What bright ideas about what?
I've forgotten them.
Oh, well, you might remember if I poke you. Was it about something to do with the videos? Something to do with the camper van? Something to do within the house? Something about the book?
I don't know.
I can't remember. No amount of poking's going to stir that brain, is
Because
it?
lots of things
Go through your mind.
go through my mind surrounding the camper. Yeah, surrounding the book, the drawing.
Drawing.
Yeah, drawing.
Something to do with drawing.
Aye, it was.
Oh.
It was to do with drawing.
Drawing.
Yeah. Aye, I'm not going to tell that. I'm not going to tell what it is. I've remembered.
All right. Oh, after all that.
I'm not going to give the game away. Yeah.
Oh. Sounds intriguing, doesn't it?
Yeah.
After all that.
I'm always trying to think ways to circumnavigate the rocks, the reefs of life, which there are many, not to mention cul-de-sacs.
Oh, definitely cul-de-sacs.
Yeah,
that you go down and have to come back out. Can't get...
Cerebral cul-de-sacs. Philosophical cul-de-sacs. Yeah, I've gone down a few of them. I'm always trying to circumnavigate my way through. Yeah, did you know? It reminded me of Dylan Thomas then.
Oh my!
No, I know. Captain Cat in Under Milk Wood, fabulous poem, Under Milk Wood. I had a tape. Well, you bought me it. A tape, a cassette tape of it, narrated by just as I were going to speak his work name, Richard Burton.
It went.
Yeah.
He had a good voice, had Richard Burton.
Yeah, he did.
Didn't he do War of the Worlds as well?
I don't know, but he did Under Milk Wood. And I remember Captain Cat. It was the early morning, and everyone was sleeping in the village, and Captain Cat was dreaming about I can't remember her name, a woman, and he said how I wish I could shipwreck in your thighs.
It's not very nice.
It would have like a Welsh name, Ariadna. Ariadna, how I could shipwreck in your thighs. Yeah. Yeah. Very, very funny, that poem. Yeah, some right characters. Oh well. That's it. It's time to
move, wash up.
Andy is saying goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye.